This will... I don't want to play favourites, but I think this topic will be my favourite. We're talking James Tedesco going on a mini holiday to Byron Bay. Buzz, not particularly happy about it. Don't know if he doesn't like Byron, but it seems whenever someone goes there, he's super sooky about it.
It was also the week before he wasn't happy with Suaalii going on a holiday either. So maybe it's just Roosters players going on holidays. I'm not entirely sure.
So he's taken this little holiday post-Origin. Trent Robinson has said that's great. They've been planning for it for quite some time. You did have Lindsay Collins, who did back up. Robbo was saying it's not a like for like. Buzz's main thing is that, well, you should be there supporting your teammates, rah, rah, rah. My thoughts are, if you're going to give them a holiday, don't bloody drag them to the footy and they have to watch their team lose. I didn't think the Roosters, I know they did lose to the Storm, but I thought probably the first 50 minutes, they weren't that bad.
Yeah, they were in the game, weren't they?
I mean, you got Joey Mano at fullback. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not like you're pulling out like someone from the crowd.
Yeah. My issue isn't with him taking a holiday. If the club's granted him time off, grant him time off. And I guess I understand why people might think it's not a great look that the captain of a club that's battling a little bit and in the bottom four now, the Roosters, is away with the misses in Byron. But if the club granted him time off, I don't see why that's a problem. Where I would find the problem is, why are you resting your captain and your best player when your season's on the line against, a strong team like the Storm? I thought that was a little bit questionable. If you might have copped knocks in Origin that we don't know about.
Yeah.
But on the surface, I think resting James Tedesco, who we know what he brings to the table at his best, and he's the leader of the Roosters. They should have wanted to have all hands on deck for that game against the Storm, and now they find themselves 4 points outside the 8 with only Canterbury, West Tigers and the Dragons behind them. So with their season on the line, I kind of question the decision from the Roosters to rest him, but him having a little trip away to Byron, I'm not too phased by. What about yourself? Where did you sit on the little Teddy getaway?
I'm a big fan of it. I think I understand that someone like Ches, right? So who's 34, who is a little bit older, playing as halfback, he's still backing up for Manly. I just don't think you use the same thing for everyone. If Robbo, who knows Teddy probably better than anyone else, says, listen, I think you need a refresher, get away for a week with your misso, take some IG snaps in Byron, sick, do it. I stupidly still think the Roosters do have a chance. They'll need to win like 5 of 7. But I think they could if they get a roll on. I don't think they will.
If they turn it around in the next 6 weeks and Teddy, hits his peak, maybe having a week off.
Looks like a genius.
Yeah, he looks like a genius. But, if they miss the finals now by 2 points and they lost a game that they potentially could have won against Melbourne, and Teddy wasn't there, might come back to bite them on the arse a little bit. So I can see both sides. Well, I can't see Buzz's side, but I can see both sides from the Roosters and James's perspective. But yeah, look, I don't know if it was the wisest decision from the club, unless he was carrying an injury that we don't know about.
Is it because of the optics? The crappiest word that has anything to do with rugby league.
Yeah.
It's not for the optics. Also, thank you for carrying me for the last 5 minutes while my computer just reloaded, frantically pressing buttons. So, real or ridiculous, Teddy should not have holidayed in Byron.
No, ridiculous. If he's been granted time off by the club, and they've given it the seal of approval, I'm all for it. He's a senior player, he's earned it. My issue, like I said, would just be with why he was being rested for this week especially. Yeah.
Kind of a 1B, I guess. We should probably talk about the Roosters as well. Is it officially a crisis? We haven't had a crisis in ages.
If you ask Roosters fans, it's a crisis.
Yeah.
I've got plenty of mates that are Roosters supporters, and I think the whole world's burning down. Yeah, no worries, guys. You've won 3 premierships in the last 10 years. Think about the poor West Tigers fans. They haven't even made the finals in that time. So, look, I understand why Roosters fans and people within the club as well would be frustrated, because they do have a star-studded roster and they're sitting in the bottom 4 with 3 awful teams behind them.
So only 4 points off the top 8?
Yeah, so it's not inconceivable that they can turn it around, but from what I've seen over the past probably 6 or 8 weeks, especially, you're not seeing them, jumping a team like maybe North Queensland, even Parramatta had some decent performances over the past month or two. So look, if they can get everyone on the park, which has been the issue for them this year, is having a fully fit roster. So
it seems like they've never got started. Like there've been so many disruptions. Obviously, with Walker, that feels like it was an age ago that he was out. Crichton's barely been seen. It just seems like every fortnight there's something going on with the Roosters.
Yeah, like Brandon Smith being out for as long as he was a big one, because he got injured in that Dragons Roosters game at Cogra, and since then they've been pretty shaky, the Roosters, and they lost that night as well. I know a lot of people have been critical of the Cheese since he's been at the Roosters, but in the games that they've won and he's been on the field, he's been probably close to their best player. So they've needed him there. Sam Walker obviously got dropped and then got injured in New South Wales Cup, and there's been a few setbacks there with his injury, which hasn't helped. Yeah, Angus Crichton's had a disrupted year for a couple of different reasons. Sitili Tupouniua's now out for the rest of the season. Yep. So there are a couple of big losses in the forwards. They've got some young guys that have shown some promise, but the injuries haven't helped. But still, even then, the players that they have had on the field for the majority of the year, you would think they would be a little bit higher, considering they were premiership favourites pre-season.